Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. We're going to be doing the weekly today for the sign of Leo, and that's going to be for November 17th to the 23rd. And this is for anyone who's got a sun, moon, Venus rising in Leo, okay? I myself am a Sagittarius and I have a moon in Leo. And so sometimes I do resonate with these readings, so let's get right into it. We are going to get your 3 romance angel cards or messages out for your week. And you may or may not resonate with this, and this is fine. Let's get right into it. And then we're going to pull out your animal spirits to see which ones you're resonating with this week. But let's get right into it. Leo, you have passion. Allow your heart and soul to sing with joy. Free yourself. This is one of my favorite cards. It's time to take back control of your life. And we have attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. Wow, this is a really beautiful set of cards. And there have been some really beautiful cards coming out, I think, as we're getting closer to December. A lot of the blessings in love and career and abundance are coming in. People are still freeing themselves from toxic relationships, and so we have free yourself coming in as well. But let's see what your animal spirits are, Leo. Now, animal spirits can indicate characteristics or personalities from individuals who are in your life or coming into your life. They can indicate energies that are becoming available to you within yourself to cope with certain times in your life or certain stages in your life. And they can also indicate stages or paths or new chapters in your life that you might be entering into and what energy is at play there. And so, yeah, just take what resonates with you, what applies to you. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. And here we go. All right, Leo. We have butterfly. Now, the symbol at the top is the alchemical symbol for air, and the butterfly is, of course, associated with that element, air. Of course, this is the universal symbol for transformation. Elk. This animal has been showing up quite a lot the last few readings for my date night readings. I did date night readings tonight for fire signs, air signs, water signs, and earth. And the elk was showing up there too. The elk is, of course, the card for the father figure. He's the strong, masculine father figure that comes in. And, of course, that triangle at the top with the line through it, the upside down triangle, is the alchemical symbol for earth. Of course, the elk is associated with earth. And then we have the rabbit, also an earth creature, but very frightened, paranoid. You know, the rabbit has been showing up a lot as well. The rabbit showed up earlier this evening, I believe, for the air signs and for the for Scorpio in the water signs date night. Okay, so let's get right into it, okay? Transformation, the butterfly. Butterfly is air element, and it talks about transformation. Now, air is, of course, associated with the mind and communication. And the butterfly talks about a transformation with that area in our lives, right? Transformation that we go through in our thinking, or in our way, in our ability to communicate. But it's a very deep transformation. It's a transcending transformation. We come into a period that's better, that resonates higher, that has a more sort of innate beauty and value to it. However, butterfly, you know, I mean, this is notwithstanding growing pains. It's transformation does come with difficulty. It's not easy. And so the butterfly also talks about, at a time like this, relying on your friends, on the comfort of your friends to help you through this transformative period. You know, transformation, whether just because it's good for you doesn't mean it's easy, right? And a lot of times we have to face that, you know, and accept that. It's also through the tribulations and the trials and the difficulty when we are working towards something or trying to attain something, it's that we need that side as well too, because that's the duality of things, and that's the duality of experience. Not all experience is always going to be 100% positive or 100% bad. You know, you have to take the good with the bad. And in this case, definitely relying on your friends is something to do. Now, the elk is, as I said earlier, earth energy, and the elk is associated with the father figure. His horns indicate his mastery of being able to provide for his family. He's the provider, he's the strategist, he's the protector, he's the one who's in charge. And so, you know, the horns indicate the crown, the kingliness of it, as well as the strength, the mastery over the wild, right? Mastery over earth, and earth being associated with the material world, the world of paying bills and the world of working and the world of the material. And so when you master that world, you're able to provide for your family. And this way, the elk is a very strong father figure or role model. And you may be dealing with someone like that. You may be resonating with that kind of energy. Sometimes elk can go a little bit the energy can get a little bit negative or more out of balance. And when the energy is out of balance, this person can be very egocentric and a little bit too harsh, right? We see that, of course, with the father figure that's too severe and too, commanding, demanding, the real disciplinarian, his way or the highway. But that's only when the energy is out of balance. In general, elk energy is very warm, loving, protective, right? And supportive father energy. Now, rabbit is another earth creature, and the rabbit is always bemoaning his fate. Oh, poor me. I'm going to get gobbled up by a hawk. You know, if I run across the road, I'll get run over. I mean, he's just always pessimistic and scared and frightened and really just thinking about the worst, right? He's the type of creature, he tends to freak himself out by thinking about the worst. And before you know it, he's frozen in the headlights. You can even see him there. He's frozen. You know, it's as if, oh, God, he's just frozen in a panic. He doesn't know what to do. And this is someone who really resonates with this kind of energy, right? They're just... you ever be around somebody like that? Now, if you're resonating with that kind of energy, or you're starting to feel that energy to come in for yourself because maybe life is a little overwhelming, or it can happen sometimes that, things don't always go your way, and sometimes you can go down this very pessimistic road. It's difficult to maintain your optimism in the face of difficulties, right? Especially when they're overwhelming. If this is the case, always... The advice is to take a step back, pull back from the world, pull back from your everyday sort of activities. Go someplace different. Go out into the wild, go out into nature, go to a park, or go someplace where people aren't at, or go somewhere, whatever that you're normally dealing with that's getting you in this hyper sort of paranoid, scared, and ultimately pessimistic state. If you get away from those energies to calm yourself down and allow yourself to calm down and get perspective, then you can transmute this kind of fearful energy. All right, guys, let's get right into your spread, Leo. We're going to pull out, for those of you who are not regulars, this is my weeklies, this is the format. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull out anywhere from 4 to 8 3-card spreads for you, Leo. Just to see some scenarios that you might be going through this week. And again, you may or may not resonate with all of this, and that's fine. You only may resonate with a portion of the forecast, or a little bit of each, or whatever the case may be. Just take it as it applies to you. All right, let's get right into it. All right, so straight out we have 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, and the King of Cups. So some of you are starting off the week very disciplined and restrictive. You're disciplining yourself for the sake of creating something of creating something really, really special through work, through labor, through work, and mastering a craft. This is a handcrafter, and if you know anything about handcraft, This is a real master. In order for him to make these discs by hand and to have them look so uniform, this is a master at his craft. And so a lot of times this card is misinterpreted as being bored because you're doing the same thing over, when in actuality this card is really everything about boundaries and restrictions. 8 is the number for boundaries, restrictions, and borders. And here we have someone who restricts himself in order to maintain discipline so that he can master something, right? Something that's very important to him and something that's going to get him abundance, because the next step, the next card is 9 of Pentacles. And with 9 of Pentacles, we begin to see a lot of money coming in. Well, money doesn't come in without hard work. And this is hard work, and that's what this card is really all about. So you come into the week, Leo, really doing a lot of hard work in a business and really getting it honed and mastered. You're met with a feeling of your finances being a little bit threatened. I think you're just a little bit worried about things going forward because you're working away, but the finances still haven't necessarily come in the way you want them to come in. You're still maybe, you know, if you're working on a business, for instance, it still may be the lean times or the lean years, right? But whatever the case may be, you do feel a little bit like you need to hold on to your money, be careful with your money. You know, you feel it being a little bit threatened. Sometimes this is the card for greed and miserliness, but I really don't feel this here. It could also be could also be for some of you that you may be dealing with someone who's being very miserly towards you. It could be that, yeah, you know, you're working away at a business and things are a little bit lean for you, and you may have reached out to a friend or a lover or someone you thought who could hold you down, and they're being real miserly with you. That could be very well be the case, that they're just like pulling away, they're not looking out, they don't have your back. And this, because this is an energy that you're met with, right? And it's quite interesting that that comes in. So it could very well be that you kind of reached out for that. You do end the week with the King of Cups energy. I want to say, I feel like this, Leo. I feel like some of you may be, like I said, involved with somebody, or you a friend or someone like that. I want to say it's somebody you're involved with. And why? Because you end the week with a King of Cups, and the King of Cups talks about taking control of their relationships. And I feel like here you're taking back a little bit control of a relationship. You're taking back kind of being, control of yourself and how you want your relationships to go and what type of relationship you want. You're turning away from this person. I think for some of you Leos, you've been dealing with someone maybe in a relationship, and you're finding out this week, that they're just a real miserly, greedy asshole. And, they don't have your back, and you're kind of like, you know what, I'm going to move on because I'm working on something really important here. And you're really selfish. You're not trying to help me out. You're not trying to hold me down. And it's coming from a real selfish sort of place, and you just come back at the end of the week, I think, Leo, because King of Cups is in a position of how your energy turns out by the end of the week. This is your energy coming in, and this is what you're met with, and this is the energy that you leave the week with, right? So it makes sense to me that this Four of Pentacles sort of miserly energy is coming from someone who you have a love connection with, and it's really making you turn away from them, Leo. It's turning you off, and it's making you turn away because you don't feel like they have your back. 9 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. So Leo, some of you are entering this week with a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry about a particular situation. Some of you may indeed be a little bit I feel this is more to do with anxiety and worry, okay? And I think this is something to do with a business, again, or a creative passion that you have that you're working on right now. You're just coming into the week very worried that it's not going to work out. You're very anxious, right? But you come into the week, and the energy that greets you or that meets you head on this week is the 3 of Pentacles. And it's a feeling of people taking notice of your work, wanting to work with you. It's a cooperative feeling. 3 is the number for bonding and loyalty. And when we talk about Pentacles, we talk about works that we do in bond with others and with loyalty from others. And this is, you begin to receive accolades or praise or attention for your work and for for how well you do your work. or for your business, it begins to start to take off. You know, the interest in this area of your life begins to take off, and you end the week off very strong with Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands, again, is a beautiful sort of card in terms of facing trials and tribulations. So now you know. I think this is definitely for a Leo who's starting a business. And you're really going through periods of worry, but this week your worry is assuaged because, you know, you're getting a lot of attention. And by the end of the week, you definitely end off strong and ready to face any ups and downs that the business may come into. You realize that this is a good thing, but it gives you more confidence and strength than anything, because you do know that there's still going to be difficult times ahead, and you know that you're probably going to have worries and pressures, but you don't want to feel like this. You know, you don't want to have this deep anxiety. So you end the week off really getting into your Queen of Wands, which is a very strong card to face any kind of trouble. Three of Wands and the Devil and Three of Swords. Wow. So some of you are being forced to slow down a little bit this week and let things unfold naturally. And this is necessary because oftentimes when this happens, Three of Wands is the card for patience, right? It's the card for virtue, really. Having virtue, and patience is a virtue, and it's exercising patience, or certainly when events come in and they kind of force you to wait and take a look at the lay of the land before you make any other decisions. And oftentimes this happens when some kind of information or person or event needs to come into your life, and you need to give it time to come in. Like, it has to have time to come in. You know, your life is moving very fast. It's almost like a readjustment of fate, the timing of fate, Three of Wands, in the sense that your life is moving at a certain speed, but there's this one event that really needs to happen for the importance of your progress and going down the right path. So what life does is it slows you down. It slows you down, and it forces you to be patient and to wait. And that is a lesson in and of itself. But not only that, along with it, quite often, especially in the readings, Three of Wands will show what is coming in. And what comes into you is devil energy. And devil energy is... Devil is the highest card for creativity, but when people's creativity is stifled or doesn't have a healthy outlet, they tend to get into negative behaviors such as addictions and codependencies. That's basically it, you know. The devil isn't evil. It's just people who are unfulfilled creatively end up going down a very self-destructive path. They become slaves to their sort of inhibitions. They become slaves to sort of their self-gratification, instant gratification, you know what I mean, codependency, addiction, you know, for a sense of gratification. So in this way, it can be quite a negative energy that comes in. And you end the week with a Three of Swords. So what I want to say is this Three of Wands, interestingly enough, is forcing you to slow down so that you can see that a particular situation is not good for you. A particular love situation you're in has the possibility of turning extremely toxic and codependent. This is a case of freeing yourself, you know, possibly transformation as well. It could very well be that, because Wands sometimes also indicates relationships, and Leo, it could be that you were moving very fast with a certain relationship, and life kind of slowed you down so that you could see what this relationship was really about before you got in too deep. And you realize, you come out this end of the week with the Three of Swords in the sense that you find out a lot of information that really hurts your heart, that, you know, and you've taken the time to digest it because you slowed down, and you find out that this is not the person you want to be with, and being with this person is going to be a horribly toxic kind of union. You know, it's going to be painful at first, finding out that they maybe aren't who they say they are, or that, you know, that the way they... Because Three of Swords, not only is a lot of people interpret Three of Swords as simply third-party energy, but it's not just that. Remember, I said 3 is the number for loyalty and bonding. But with the Swords card, it's communication, and you have a sword. It's not a cup card. So it's a sword card. So it's three swords that are pierced in the heart in the sense that the loyalty has been broken by someone's actions or words. Now, of course, a gross example of that is cheating. But it goes, again, with all tarot cards, it goes a little deeper than that. It's more that this person just isn't who they say they are because they're fake. Or they're either intentionally lying to you to manipulate you. You know, they may have said something to you and their actions are totally different. So the heartbreak isn't even so much that that they love somebody else or something. Part of the heartbreak is that you feel as though they've insulted your intelligence. You know, because this is a mental card, so it feels as though they've kind of like played you for a fool. And that's what really hurts with the Three of Swords. And that's what it speaks to. And I think you wake up to that with them and you move on, you know, hopefully. Knight of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, and the Judgment. I'm going to leave it at that one. That's going to be the last one. Wow, so you come into this week, Leo. Some of you are coming into this week determined to achieve your goal in a business or career path. And the energy that comes to you is the King of Pentacles. It's quite interesting. It could be that somebody comes in who, somebody comes into you who knows about this particular path or career area, and they want to be a benefactor to you or support to you. They could very much be playing a father figure to you. They could be your father, right? Your father could be coming to your aid to help you along. But it's very, very compatible. You have a Knight and a King of Pentacles, so you're very compatible. And it's interesting because Judgment comes in. Excuse me. And Judgment talks about releasing guilt and releasing judgment, really forgiveness in a lot of ways, seeing situations from a lot of different sides. And I think this is going to be interesting for some of you, especially with Free Yourself and Elk and this combination. Some of you are going to have a healing week with a father figure or a masculine role model in your life, right, in some way. And it's going to be through the fact that you both share a certain business or career interest, right? And it may be that at some point there was some kind of dynamic here where the energies were either off or you had a falling out or there was some kind of event. And now with Judgment coming in, you guys are coming back together and it's maybe has been some time apart. You've learned some things on your path. Perhaps they've opened up a bit more. And in any case, Judgment comes in the sense that, you know, you both sort of begin to understand each other and begin to let go and heal. And you free yourself also from a lot of guilt that perhaps you have had taken on. Judgment also talks about freeing yourself from guilt, from self-judgment and self-criticism and taking on guilt that isn't yours. I mean, any guilt is really unnecessary, but sometimes we also take on guilt that isn't necessarily ours, or we're overcritical, right? There are times in our lives where events or dynamics have happened where we've been overcritical, overjudgmental, you know, and we've never, you know, and that comes from having a very closed-minded view of something. And now you're really at a place where you're able to revisit it and sort of almost have a reconciliation. All right, guys, this is your reading, Leo, for November 17th to the 23rd. I hope you enjoy it. And all my videos are premiered, so if you're here for the premiere, I hope you're enjoying that too. Please like, subscribe, and share. All of that really helps me grow my channel. All of the links are there in the description to the other readings. But for right now, Leo, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful week of November 17th to the 23rd. Bye-bye now.